Last week on This Morning, a lady called Lindsay shares her perimenopause story. It's with regards to perimenopause and mental health, and it brought back a lot of memories, so I thought I would share with you what she said.
I started off with anxiety. I'm not an anxious person,
No.
but this anxiety, it was about the simplest things, just daily chores. I get a parking space on the school run. What am I going to put on the food shop? Just really low-level things. But I recognised something had changed within me, so I got in touch with my GP practice.
When I went to my GP age 41, the overwhelm was very similar with regards to it was over really little basic everyday things.
I was 45.
45 at the time.
Yeah. And I was placed on antidepressants, but that's what I expected. I was thinking it's an anxiety disorder, therefore that's what I would be given. But it rapidly spiralled. The anxiety got worse. I found I was getting heart palpitations. And within about 6 weeks, it was as if a light had been switched off in me. There was no joy.
I too was given antidepressants, and I took those happily because I would have tried anything to just get my head back into the place. It also wasn't the right thing for me either. My decline wasn't over a quick period. My decline was over a number of years. Sliding down.
Of weeks, I went from working, functioning, to just really this joy had left. And shortly after this horrible feeling of lack of emotion, the intrusive thoughts came, and I constant thought, and I just didn't want to be here.
I also had intrusive thoughts. My thing was that I genuinely felt like my children would be better off without me. That's literally, I was driving along. I can remember one day just thinking, they'd be so much better off if I wasn't around. It was a real feeling of being a complete and utter failure.
I had to be sectioned.
I mean, that's an extraordinarily extreme measure to take, but it was that bad.
Yeah, Kieran was having to watch me 24/7. The inpatient facility for, I think, 6 weeks. They tried different antidepressants, different combinations, and I was also given ECT.
Electric shock.
Which was the Electo compulsive therapy,
I was on the highest dose of venlafaxine. I was so lost. I was ringing my GP surgery, just begging for help. Like, this can't be right. Like, what is going on? My family were so concerned about me. They were looking like, let's look at counselling, and there's got to be. I was like, there's got to be a way through this. Like,
When did somebody bring up the menopause or hormones?
They didn't. This was it. It was said as a background comment. Maybe this could be her hormones, but that was it. It was never, this could be her hormones, therefore maybe there's an alternative route.
Nobody seemed to have any solutions for me. It was like I was having to go to them and think and suggest things as to how I felt we could improve this situation. No, the GPs weren't saying to me, right, this is where you are, what can we do, how can we get through this?
I came out on weekend leave and saw my children for the first time in 6 weeks, and it was like being a stranger in my own home. And then thankfully, it didn't go to plan. I did sustain some serious injuries, then in a trauma orthopaedic ward.
So whose idea was it to try the HRT?
We'd done all the things that it seemed like it was.
Yeah.
So the mental health, all of the things that
So you've done a
I thought,
checklist. Let's rule everything out.
The GPs weren't saying to me, right, this is where you are, what can we do, how can we get through this? They told me that I had asked for help the wrong way. They actually said, you're not letting us help you. You aren't helping me. I am begging for help. I am mentally broken, begging for help, and there was just no way through it. It was only when I shared that experience that a mum from the school messaged me and said, Mel, I've gone on HRT. You've mentioned you've been perimenopausal before. I think that can help you. None of the medical professionals had even mentioned this. I had been going to them with so many symptoms. Not one of them mentioned HRT. I had to go to my GP, and we'd arranged for me to have a different antidepressant at this point in time, and say, this is probably hormonal. Can I try HRT?
I spoke to one of the psychiatrists and got a second opinion, and it was a female psychiatrist who listened.
It took a female psychiatrist to listen.
She said, I don't know how to prescribe it or what to do, but let's give it a go. And she was on an orthopaedic ward, but they don't know how to do it. They asked the specialist, which is the gynaecologist, and they said, speak to a GP.
Please tell me how the gynaecologist needed the GP to prescribe the HRT when menopause clinics in hospitals are most likely the consultant you will see as a gynaecologist.
So the doctor spoke to me, I told them what to do, and then they prescribed it just before she was discharged.
How quick was that turnaround, Lindsay, from when you started on the
The HRT, it was literally within 28 days. It was...
Having
you
been
were a completely different
It was
person.
like waking up from a nightmare.
from attempting 28 days later?
Yeah, and I was me again.
A woman is most likely to commit unaliving over the age of 40, 45. How many women are losing their lives because they don't know what's going on with them? I was prescribed HRT, and just like Lindsay, within weeks, I was feeling better. How are we in a place where something that can work so quickly is so hard to get? For me, it was a school mum messaging saying HRT. For Lindsay, it was a background comment, maybe this could be her hormones. We have to change this.